Hey, what's up? My name is River. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, I'm making videos just documenting the process of learning if I'm multiple or not. So I'm not saying I am, I'm not saying I'm not, I'm just saying I'm having things that are making me question, and I just wanted to document the journey because I found a lot of the videos, like YouTube pages online, where people who were very confident in their diagnosis. There was not a lot of like there is a lot of doubt because from what I'm gathering, doubt is something that never really goes away with DID. But there's a lot of confidence in the presentation, or just their symptoms. So I wanted to make a video talking about the new awareness that I've been having and the symptoms that I'm experiencing, and just like new things that I'm realizing. The most first and foremost, for so long I thought I couldn't hear my alters. I thought that like because I wasn't hearing distinct voices that had unique sounds, pitch, um, kind of what's the word, dictation. I thought that meant that I wasn't hearing my alters. What I'm realizing now is that the way I hear my alters in my head is actually just through their thoughts. So it all just kind of sounds like, not like my voice, because my thoughts don't even sound like my voice, but just like soundless thoughts, like just words that don't have any kind of characteristics behind them. And I'm learning, the reason I'm able to come to this awareness is because I'm realizing I made a video in the past talking about how before I would have thoughts that were judgmental before I realized I was multiple, and I would just think, wow, why did I think that thought? That's so mean. And I'm not saying all my alters are mean, because I have these examples that are positive, or jokes that I would make, or desires that I would have that don't really fit with my personality. But I would never question those because they weren't so foreign to what I believe my thought process is. So yeah, so I work overnights, and I was working last night, and I was really trying to be aware and attuned to what thoughts are mine and what thoughts aren't mine, and I've been trying to do that for this past little bit. And I've come to the conclusion that I do experience thoughts of my alters that aren't my own, and I'm able to figure that out because, sorry, I'm starting to dissociate from it, so it's hard for me to like pick examples when I can't remember them. But things like, and a coworker was telling a story, and this is an example of when those thoughts are mean. But I was engaged in the story, but I had a thought like, oh my god, this guy talks so much, and that was so bizarre to me because, like I said, I was engaged with the story. I thought it was interesting. Sorry, I think I have pet hair on my nose. So it was just really bizarre that I would think that, and that was kind of what triggered this internal discovery and exploration to just figure out, where did that thought come from? It's strange that I would have this thought. Other thoughts that I had throughout the night were just like talking to myself, like I don't want to keep thinking of mean examples because I don't want to make it seem like the personalities and the alters in my body are just mean people, because I don't think that. I don't think anyone's a mean person. I mean, granted, there are truly mean people, but I try to tend the humanistic philosophy of life. So just like going back and forth with my head, I always would have thought that that was just me like talking to myself or stuff. But I'm realizing now that those thoughts that were coming back to me were actually thoughts of my alters. Or like I said, I'm still exploring, so I don't want to like confirm that or say that it's factual when I'm still questioning it. But it's a new discovery that I have where I'm realizing that, like I was petting my dog earlier, and I had a thought like, "Oh, you're such a good boy," and I had another thought, and it was like, "Oh, he's such a good boy," but it was like childlike, and I don't understand. It didn't feel like myself because, like I said, it was childlike, and I spoke to that thought process as if it was a child, and I said, "Did you hear that?" Like, to my dog. I'm like, "Did you hear that? He thinks you're such." I thought it was one of my child alters. He was a boy. I'm like, Did you hear that? He thinks you're a good boy." Now, why I thought my dog would hear that because it's in my head, I don't know. And then immediately after I want to play with the dog. And I'm trying to get ready for bed. I'm not trying to get my dog worked up, so it's not a thought that I would have had organically. So I'm realizing examples like that are examples where these thoughts that are coming to my head are probably the people that I think are also my consciousness. So that was a big discovery. I wanted to keep this last thing that I realized for Zendaya to film because it is about her, but I figured I could talk about it and then she could also make a video whenever she fronts next. And that was, I think I realized what it meant when alters split. So if you've seen my other videos, especially the one where Zendaya's talking, usually you know it's a video of Zendaya because she likes having a red filter or like edit on her photos to make it look red. So yeah, she spoke in a video and she was saying that the trauma that she held on to or that she carried, she was starting to dissociate from, or she was starting to lose connection to, lose memories, lose emotional attachment. And I was confused about why that was happening. She was confused about why that was happening. She was having a bit of an identity crisis. And I realized that I think it's because she split. And it was just, once I realized it, it was so, like, it made so much sense. So I don't know what happened to those memories. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was just a cool, I don't want to say cool because I'm not trying to romanticize it and I'm not trying to, like, this is trauma of my PTSD, so it's not something I think, and I have a smile on my face. I know I always smile. So I'm not trying to say that this is a good thing by any means, but I think I'm just happy because I'm learning more about my system. So yeah, that was another thing that was really big. I think those are the main two things I wanted to talk about, but now that I made this video, I wanted to see if there's anything else. Like I said, I've spoken to in the past, I've realized more about how I'm dissociating and how much time I'm truly losing. And little things, like even throughout the day, like I said, like the example I spoke to earlier when I was trying to think of the thoughts of my alters that we experienced, I no longer could give clear examples. And there was, at the time, I remember at the time I was like, oh, this is a good example. This is something I could go back to. This is something I could talk to my doctor to. And now I don't remember that. So that's like it's not necessarily a blackout because I remember like having those thought process, but it's not ordinary forgetting because this was like a 12-hour shift and it was throughout the whole shift I was thinking of this. But just like those amnesia, I suppose. And that's kind of how my amnesia works. Like, I can recall doing things, but like, I don't know any of the details. Like, that's what's gone from me. Like, every day me and my mom go to Tim Hortons. Do I know what we talk about? No, not at all. But, and it's funny because my sisters will ask me and they're like, oh, so like, what do you and mom talk about and stuff? Couldn't tell you a single thing. But, yeah. But I honestly, I don't know enough about DID. Like, I know a lot about DID, but like the actual symptomology, I'm not too familiar with. I think I don't think I did. I made a video before about, like, it was my last video about how I don't have an inner world, and I suppose that was a bit of clickbait because I think I do have an inner world. And like today, I don't remember what time it was. I don't remember if it was after I came home or when I was at work, but Briella, I had my head down for like 5 minutes and I was like, I am going to see this inner world. So I tried really hard and nothing was happening. I think I would get like an outline of a body and I would get excited and then it would go away. But when I stop trying to force it, because when I say force it, I mean like I'm trying to experience an inner world in the 3-dimensional physical sense that people describe it in. Right now, when I have, and I spoke about this in the video, so excuse me, but the way I experience my inner world now is almost like, I guess, like imagining things, not to make it seem like to invalidate what I'm saying, but it's like, and I'm not sure, maybe when people do imagine, they can really, I think they can actually, they can really like build a world in their head. I can't do that. And when I am thinking of my inner world, it's like I know what it is in the vague sense. Like I remember Zendaya, I couldn't look around the room. I could like feel Zendaya and I could imagine her, but I couldn't like see facial details or anything. But I saw her body, the wings. She called herself Brielle. I said hi, Brielle. She said hi. We had a back and forth. I asked her to show me around, and she was like, "Do you want to see the child's room?" And I was excited to, but I was like, actually, it would be interesting if I could see my own room. And I remember I couldn't open the door. Like, it was like a block. I couldn't even, like, pretend. And what I feel like I'm doing is pretending. But I couldn't even, like, pretend to imagine my own room. It was just, like, not there. So she asked me, she said, well, like, what do you want to see that you think you can see? And oftentimes when I think of Montreal, I think of him playing basketball. So I had known that, oh, I could see the basketball court. And by the time I went over, we were like, I don't imagine us walking to the basketball court. We were just like in the basketball court. I think I got interrupted at work or something. So I stopped thinking about it. But yeah, it's just, I feel like I'm making discoveries. The first and foremost is definitely the thought process, and I think that's a really good step. One thing I'm trying to remind myself of is Rome wasn't built in a day, and I need to be mindful of the fact that this is going to take a long time of a lot of work to get to this point of like speaking to my alters more clearly, maybe hearing their voices, and like being really grounded in my inner world if I have one. So I do understand that this is going to take time, and although this journey has been going on, it's about January of this year, 2024, and it's now soon to be July. There's still so much more I need to do, and I understand that. I don't know if I've spoken about it in one of my videos, but I just started trauma therapy. The social worker specializes in internal family systems, and he says that he believes in DID, but he doesn't look at DID and alters as truly different people. He looks at it as extreme dissociated parts within my own self. And like, I think I know what he means, because like, we're not truly different people, but we're different people in the sense where we're different personalities. And what does it really mean to be a different person? You can have physiological, philosophical debate about this all day long. But not to invalidate my systems or my system, but I wonder if maybe that's the approach I should take, where it's because he believes everyone has parts, like everyone are made up of different parts, like almost like the ego states of structured dissociation. When they speak to childhood ego states, he almost kind of believes that those ego states don't necessarily formulate into one personality. They stay as parts, but they don't identify as different people, or as when OSD 1A, different people at different stages. He believes that, you know, he explained it as like, I have a part that my family function almost goes childlike, not like in a little, but just like is a goofball and likes to make pranks, is what he described it. And he said that, you know, that like shit disturber, like he called it the younger brother version, because he's with his family, right? He's like, I have a little brother version who like plays pranks and is a shit disturber, like I said. So yeah, he just said that, and he has the part that he is with when he's working, and he has the part that he is with, I think he said his partner or something, I don't know. But he just described it as everyone has parts within themselves. That's the whole point of internal family systems. But either way he looks at DID, it's just like these are extremely dissociated versions, like parts. So he doesn't look at it, and I guess I don't know. I also only met him once. I can't really relay his whole belief system. But yeah, it's interesting. I feel like I'm making progress. As much as I'm trying to force myself to have all these grand discoveries and realizations and connections, I need to realize, take a step back, keep working, keep trying, and understand that it's the little victories in this process. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it here. Thanks for watching if you've watched so far. And yeah, everyone have a good day. Peace.